Welcome to Hancock's VMware Half Hour, and welcome back to another episode of Hancock's VMware Half Hour. Okay, so in today's video, you've asked for it. There have been a lot of requests for this. We're going to have a little look at installing Proxmox on our Minisforum MS-A2. Oh, sorry, I meant Proxmox. So we're going to install Proxmox. We're going to do the latest version, actually, 9. whatever it is, that has been released very recently, and we're going to install that on our Minisforum MS-A2. You will know by now, if you've been following these videos, that we're somewhat obsessed with the Minisforum MS-A2, and I did say a number of videos back that we were going to get round to installing Proxmox on it, but I have held back a bit and waited a little bit for the new version of Proxmox to be released, and then we'll also do a couple of videos on XCP on the Minisforum MS-A2, which have been requested as well. But I did also say a number of videos back that we were going to have a little look at XCP on the Minisforum MS-A2, and we're going to have a little look at Nutanix on the Minisforum MS-A2 as well. But today, in this video, we're going to have a little look at installing Proxmox on our Minisforum MS-A2. Now, in traditional fashion here on the channel, I've just got to turn around there to turn my Minisforum machine on. It is actually basically connected directly in, as you can see. If you're new to the channel, this, I think, is a fault with an overheating Elgato card. Those that are familiar with the channel know already that occasionally we get this very strange green screen. So I'm going to boot our USB NVMe disk and 901. So we're going to install Proxmox VE 9.0.1. So I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to boot in normal mode, and you can see that very strange sort of kind of tinge that we've got is because of the green screen, which is actually basically caused by the Elgato HD60 Pro, which when it gets a bit warm, for some strange reason, the black, I think it is, actually basically goes a little bit green. But anyway, it's unique to Hancock's VMware Half Hour. Anyway, so I'll proceed. Install Proxmox VE graphical. This isn't going to take very long at all, really, to be honest with you. And again, we're using another U.2 device, a U.2 device, which is actually basically connected into our, stretching over here back onto the other desk. So we're using another U.2 device. Happens to be not 4 terabyte, this one. I think this one's 980 gig. So this is actually basically connected to the little carrier board. So I'm going to accept the EULA. I agree. And I'm going to use the Dev NVMe 1N1, our Samsung device there, followed by next. United Kingdom, Europe, United Kingdom. That'll do. I'm going to basically type in a password and remember it. Mail address invalid. So I don't know what it does with the mail address. Maybe it registers it or something, or sends it to Proxmox. Anyway, if you know what it does with the email address, drop a note in the description and let me know. Followed by next. Okay, so we're going to go with the defaults. So we're going to go with 141.251.6.30. These are DHCP. Hostname, yeah, we're going to go with pve-saris-consultants.co.uk. Our DNS servers, I've changed them around this morning. There's something very weird with our PDC our Windows Server 2022 every now and again, after so many hours. Anyway, I'm just going to click install, and while that's doing that, yeah, every now and again, and it's happening more often now, DNS just goes on the bonk, for no unknown reason. And it doesn't matter whether or not that you shut down, restart it, restart the services, or restart the DNS service, I should say. It doesn't respond to DNS requests, or not well. The problem is that as that's the first DNS server, I have actually basically noticed that some services, smart TV, for instance, things like Netflix and Disney Plus and strange, and Disney Plus, Discovery, Netflix, for some strange reason they won't actually use the second DNS server. Or I think it's because the DNS server is there, but it's not responding properly. So everything craps out here. It's been doing this for a while now. So what I've actually basically done is just turn those round in DHCP, so that 141.245.138.113, the second DNS server, which doesn't go bad, will respond to DNS requests. So there we go. Installation done. So I'm just going to hit install. We'll just log in as root, just to check that I've actually basically got the right password. And then what we'll do, that looks good. Then what we'll do, I'll just put this on pause. I'll get a web browser up and we'll log in via a web browser. So I've just opened up a web browser to the IP address of our Proxmox server, 141.245.136.30, followed by the port name 8006. Just let me zoom in. There we go. I'm going to click advanced and I'm going to click proceed, and we're going to get the standard login. So I'm going to log in with root, followed by that username. Okay, so you don't have a valid subscription for this server. Please visit Proxmox to get a list of available options. Just going to big X out of that, and a big X out of that. If we just actually basically drop back so you can see the screen. Okay, so little bit like ESXi, if you're connecting direct to ESXi. So we've got storage, local PVE, storage, local -LVM PVE. Tell you what we'll do. I'm just going to go to our storage. I'm going to add some NFS storage. So we've got lots of so our server is 141.245.138.203. Our export is volume 1 ISOs, I believe, and I'll call it NFS ISOs ID, friendly name, data store name. 141.245.138.203, volume 1 ISOs. This is a Synology NAS. So I'm going to click add. If it all goes wrong, then I've got it wrong. Okay, so therefore I've got some, I could actually basically say that it's our ISO images, not disk images, because they're just ISOs on there. And now we can create a virtual machine. Hey, we've had to do a little bit of fettling on our NAS because Proxmox expects your ISOs to be in a directory or folder called template ISOs. And all our ISOs on our NAS are all structured based on their distributions and their vendor. So I've just quickly bobbed our Windows Server 2025 ISO in the template ISO folder on our NAS, and now you can actually basically see it appears as an ISO image. So with that, I'm going to do right click. I'm going to say create VM. Tell you what, let's just do that so that you can sort of kind of basically see it a little bit more zoomed in. Let's just hold that. Node PVE. So PVE is the node, that's the server. We call it PVE. VM ID. So they all basically get a number starting at 100. So I'm going to call this first Windows Server. Now it doesn't like spaces, so you're going to have to get used to using underscores or dashes. If I can spell that right. First Windows Server followed by next. So I'm going to choose an ISO image. It's on NFS ISOs and it should now appear in the drop down. And that's going to be Microsoft Windows followed by next. Yeah, so it's UEFI, and TPM storage we'll put there, and we'll put that there as well. So moving forward, let's use a SCSI device for this. We're going to install it on the local LVM followed by next. We need to give this a few more cores than one, so I'm going to give it 4 cores, and we're going to give it 8 gig of memory, followed by next. And yeah, that looks all good. VMBR, yeah, followed by next, and follow. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just say start after creation, followed by finish, and hopefully, fingers crossed, if I go to the console here and we're connecting and I hit enter, then we're actually loading the installation files. Simple, lovely Proxmox screen. Tell you what, if I just zoom out again. And okay, language, time and currency, United Kingdom, followed by next, followed by next, install Windows Server. Yep, I agree to everything. Followed by next. Windows Server 2025 data center desktop experience, followed by next. Accept the EULA. Searching for disks. Okay. It's not found a disk. So we're going to need to do a bit of fettling here. And the reason why at the moment that we're actually basically not seeing our underlying storage is because Windows Server 2025 doesn't recognize the hardware, but we can easily resolve that. So if I actually basically go back to our NFS ISOs and I actually basically click download from URL, and I've got the URL for somewhere. There we go, cut and pasted. So I've got the actual download URL for what I suppose is the equivalent of the VMware tools ISO. So it's basically the Proxmox tools ISO, which actually basically is going to contain the drivers for the underlying storage system or device or controller that we're using in the virtual machine. So I'm just going to paste the file name. Now this is a nice feature where we can actually basically query the URL, and we can actually download that ISO direct to our data store or our ISO repository, and I click download, and that's obviously basically going to go off and download. And yeah, that's a nice feature. I like that. I like that a lot. That would save an awful lot of time if we had that sort of kind of function within VMware vSphere, but we don't. So there we go, a win for Proxmox. I bet you didn't think I was going to say that today. Okay, so there we go. I think that's looking okay. That's okay. Status okay. So I can big X out of that. And basically we've got the virtual virt.io-win ISO in there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to see whether or not I can actually add another CD-ROM drive to our... So there we go. So I've added a IDE, NFS ISOs, our ISO images there. Click add. So that says it's undefined. And I'm wondering if that is because the machine is currently on. Let's just go back and have a little look in the console. I'm hoping that we can load a driver off that. No, I'm going to have to we're going to have to restart, and hopefully now, in fact, actually, I think what's actually happened there now, of course, is let's just have a little look. I think we've got the order wrong now, so tell you what, let's just power this machine off, change the order. We'll say hard stop. And let's have a little look at the order of... Okay, so we don't want it to boot from that one. Okay, so I've changed the order around so that IDE 0 has got our Windows Server 2025 ISO, so we can still boot it. But our second CD-ROM drive has actually basically got our drivers in. And now we'll go back and we'll start up and we'll repeat that again. And hopefully we'll boot off. There we go. So we're booted off our Windows Server 2025, and hopefully this time we'll be able to pick the drivers up for our underlying storage system. Now we could have installed it to IDE, because there probably would have been an IDE driver, but let's actually basically do things right, because otherwise we'd have to swap the storage controller later in the machine. Windows Server, I agree, everything deleted, followed by next. Windows Server 2025, followed by next. Accept the EULA. As expected, no storage system is found because the Windows Server 2025 installation doesn't currently have a driver installed yet that will detect our underlying storage. So let's load a driver. Let's have a little look at our E drive or our virt.io Windows ISO. And if we have a little look down here at VIO SCSI, we've got all the drivers that we need for all the versions. 2K25, AMD 64 because we're not ARM, followed by next. Red Hat virt.io SCSI pass-through controller. Let's install. And then hopefully there is our unallocated disk space. So I'm basically just going to say next. Now, I don't think 32 gig actually is going to be big enough for Windows Server 2025, but we'll see. So I'm going to say install, and there we go. So tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bob off, and I'll not bother speeding this up in post, because I'm sure by now that you've seen an installation of Windows Server 2025. So I'm just going to put this on pause and I'll come back and we'll log in. Just thought I'd quickly pop back just to show you that it is continuing. I'll disappear again. Okay, so here we go at that familiar screen. I'll create in a password. Finish. finalizing settings. Logging in for the first time. So there you go. How to install Proxmox 9.0.1 on a Minisforum MS-A2 bare metal. And then just to prove that it does actually basically do what it says on the tin and does some virtualization, we've installed Windows Server 2025. There you go. So if you've enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, then give it a thumbs down. Let me know why in the description. But don't forget to subscribe and share. My name is Andrew Hancock at Hancock's VMware Half Hour. We'll call it a day on this video. Come back for the next video because I'm going to quickly show you how we can quickly convert some Hyper-V virtual machines to Proxmox, because this MS-A2 of course was the same machine that we actually basically used to install Hyper-V. And if you remember back in that video, we actually used Veeam backup and replication to restore some VMware virtual machines to Hyper-V. So they still exist on the NTFS partition, or in fact they actually exist on the other NVMe disk. You remember that one that I've got installed on that A&E key. So what we'll do in the next video is I'll quickly show you how we can very quickly convert Hyper-V to Proxmox. So in told, we've gone from VMware vSphere via Veeam backup and replication to Hyper-V. And then I'll use the tools inside Proxmox or with Proxmox that allow us to convert from Hyper-V our VHDXs to QCOW2 and RAW in the next video. So if you want to see that, then come back for the next video. But in this video, all I've got to say is thanks so much for watching. And come back again for another video by me. So all the best now. Bye-bye.